Hey everybody, welcome to Queer Stories on the Swan, a podcast where two gay men chat and discuss all things queer and the Perth LGBTQIA plus community. I'm your host, Chris.
And I'm your other host, Christo. In today's episode, it's all about us. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hey Christo, guess what?
Hey, what?
We're recording our first episode. This is the pilot,
oh my God,
baby.
This is so exciting.
This is the pilot of Queer Stories on the Swan. We are actually doing this. I mean, we just put out the trailer like yesterday, but well, actually, It depends when we get this uploaded. So very recently, the trailer came out.
Yes.
So I got my cup of English tea for the morning.
On the 28th of the 1st.
Oh, you're dating us now. So we don't know. Also, that was yesterday. If we want to make this. Oh, you mean the trailer? Oh,
yep.
Girl, this is why I need my tea.
Wake up.
My caffeine. Okay, so to save this garbage dump of an intro, thanks to me. Hi guys. So you heard the intro. This is Queer Stories on the Swan. This is Chris.
And I'm Christo. Woohoo!
And so today's episode, this is just simply get to know us. It is just a family episode. Because you know I feel like I'm the mum of the show because like this was my idea and I came to you. You're like the aunt. You're like the really fun aunt. Like you spoil the kids rotten because you have like so much energy. And then I have to do all the dirty work because I'm editing it, I'm putting it out there on Anchor, I'm changing it, I'm feeding it. Ugh. Children. And that's the only child I'm going to be handling ever because children, no thank you.
Oh my God, I've got a puppy, so it's fine.
I know that's the only kind of doggo. I mean, I've got a doggy here. We've got a greyhound. Her name is Lady. Very classy name. So this show is we're discussing all these queer. Ideally, we want to have a guest every episode, but we'll see what happens with scheduling and everything. To talk about their life story, growing up queer, what it was like for them, their difficulties, how they've improved their life, if things have improved for them, any advice they want to bestow on people who are still coming out, who are young and still figuring that out, because that's a fun time. And we'll get into that. So, but this episode is just Christo and I, and this is an opportunity for you to get to know us if you don't already. Like I'm pretty sure most of our friends are listening in, but hey, any new listeners who has no idea who we are, and
who the hell we are,
we're just a couple of gay voices. Hope you're not too annoyed yet, because we got a whole episode to get through.
You're going to listen to us for a long time.
For a long time. But thank you if you are. We really appreciate the support. Yeah. So, Christo, who wants to begin talking about themselves? Which is so funny asking a gay man that, because we are incredibly full of ego and love to chat about ourselves all the time.
What we do. Yeah.
We do. We're
not talking about ourselves. We're not talking.
Exactly. Which is, so I'm just thinking, is this a problem that I organized this podcast with another gay man? No, it's okay.
Oh dear.
It's all good. It's too late. It's too late. I've already set this up.
The ship has sailed.
Do you want to begin, Christo, or shall I?
You can begin.
I'll begin. Okay.
Yeah. Mama can begin.
Mum's first. Okay, fine. Very well. So I'm going to do Sophia from the Golden Girls. Although that does make me sad to do this because it's still recently when that happened. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to be Sophia from the Golden Girls. Picture it. Perth, 1995.
Love it.
Oh God, I love that show so much. I'll start watching it again.
So good.
Soon. So hi. By the way, I forgot to do the pronouns thing. So my name is Chris. My pronouns are he, him, and his. Christo, do you just want to get yours out of the way?
Anything. Okay. I've never really thought about it. So.
Yeah, he, him, they, them. Cool.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey you.
Yeah, hey you. Thing. No, kidding.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what I tell myself. Anyhow, so yeah, Perth, 1995. I was born in Murdoch, so I'm a local boy. Always been a local boy. I have lived here all my life.
Wow.
And I was born and grew up with and still have it. I have autism. So there was a lot of things growing up that was rather difficult for me. My young self was definitely the embodiment of being an introvert, because people who were not my parents, especially my mum, were terrifying. Like, you always get the shy kid who is always hiding behind their mum's or parents' leg, as like, oh, hello, this crazy person just gawking at them. But I would be so extremely shy, like anyone would be just like, no.
Oh my God.
No.
Yeah.
Children, however, were a lot worse. Children, I kid you not. Do you want to know what my reaction would be to other children?
What?
Take a wild guess.
Run and hide.
That and then proceed to chuck.
Oh my God, serious.
Children gave me that much anxiety that I just could not deal with children.
Oh wow.
I mean, I still can't, but I don't vomit. I mean, they might make me gag sometimes, but that's because I'm a cynical, horrible adult. But
you're not that.
Yeah, so growing up was very difficult in terms of like social anxiety. I did have to go through speech therapy. So I had to do a lot of growing and throughout schooling. Primary school was generally a fine experience for me. Still very, very shy. Very much a overachiever when it came to things I was good at. I was good at mental maths, like the quick calculations, 4 times 4, all that kind of thing.
Smarty pants.
I was also very much a great speller.
Yeah, thinking. Sorry. Yes.
Are you being distracted?
Getting my man to close the door. The puppy
rude.
Was in here, but he's not anymore. So I'm like, close the door. I'm surrounded by lights, so I can't move.
Hello, Christo's partner. Where was I? Oh my God, super great speller. And I, because you had spelling tests back in school, yeah? That was a thing back in.
Oh my God, I'm not that old.
I'm just checking. I'm making sure. I am trying not to presume, but I'm not calling you old.
To trace it on concrete.
I had to chip it on sketch sheets, the hieroglyphics back in the day. No, okay. So you did have them. So did I. If I got like a word, and usually be like out of 10 words. If I didn't get them all, oh God.
Oh really? Oh
I was such a perfectionist because it was the one thing I was good at. I was not good at sports. Being social with other children. I mean, I've moved past the vomiting stage, but like,
still ill children.
Still ick.
Even though they're the same age as you.
Yeah, because they're just funny. They just want to like be friends with me. Ew.
Oh no.
No. I didn't really know how to do a lot of like social things because that's just part of the. Well, it's part of the thing growing up autistic, but then you do go through therapy and life experience is what kind of helps with that in the end. But it still can be difficult to deal with. But your primary school overall was fine. High school, every kid's worst nightmare. I mean, I know it's middle school, and then senior school, but I count it all as high school. There's primary school and there's high school to me. That's just how I class
that's what
it
is now, I think.
Well, because I went to my high school in year 7, and at that time it wasn't the thing you just do.
Mine.
Oh, did really? What was?
Yeah, year 7 was the end of primary school, and you graduated and you went to high school. Well, middle school.
Yeah, well, that was
to year 9.
That was to my
year
thing
10
as
was
well.
high school. Yeah.
Because our middle school was 7, 8, 9, and then senior was 10, 11, 12. But I actually did it. I left the end of year 6 and went straight to year 7 in middle school.
Okay.
So I did it before it was cool, and required by law. Before it was officially changed. And as you're a kid growing up with puberty, you start to learn things about yourself. I'm just thinking about my first time when I exercised. No, the first time I'm trying to make this a family friendly show. I don't want to outright say what I was doing. I was stroking. Okay. Is that on the nose enough for you, Christo?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so
you're exploring
and
yourself.
I remember in my head, it wasn't girls, it was boys. Oh. It was boys. I didn't think too much of it at the time because, okay. Oh God, what was that? That was so loud.
Oh, sorry, that was me opening my thing.
That's right. I'll just turn down the volume. Okay, cool. But yeah, so I was just like, oh, okay, I'm picturing boys in my head, and it was just, it's like you're flushing a toilet.
I'm just trying to pour my drink.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to pause my story so you can pour your drink? You can...
Okay, hang on.
No, you're all good,
there
Dale.
We go. Okay.
You're all good, Dale. This is a podcast. We got no time limit. I mean,
exactly.
You do, but I got a little time in the world. So hey, if you want to keep interrupting me, that's up to you.
I will.
Oh, good. So yeah, so that was a interesting thing to have in the back of my mind. But you know, being gay was just something you didn't want to acknowledge. My school was a private Christian school. It was a Baptist college, actually. So there wasn't anything talked about when it came to queer people or being gay or anything. But, you know, how many times has it been used as an insult? Like, oh, that thing's so gay. Oh, that's so gay. So being gay was such a thing that I just didn't want to. I already did not like a lot of attention because a lot of attention, it was something I didn't know how to handle, and then I would feel really awkward. So that was an interesting time for me. But another interesting time with me was when I was realizing that I'm a dramatic gay person, or more specifically, I'm just a gay person, because my love of drama came in. Like, drama was one of them. Like, you had to do it. It was one of the mandatory classes. And oh my God, like giving speeches in high school, in primary school. No. Well, speeches in general, any like public speaking. I was talking about a book report or anything. Even telling, like, we had like show and tell in primary school, or we called it news. You had, was it news for you? Or was it like show and tell or something else?
I don't remember.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm surprised. I do remember. I'm surprised I remember. Just public speaking in general was just like, no, thank you. So
exactly the same.
Drama and having to perform and make yourself look like an idiot on camera. No, thank you. No,
really?
Thank you. Not at all.
Wow.
However, so one of our first assignments, anyway, passing things you have to pass. We had to play a piece of furniture. Just to keep it short, I chose to play a door. It was just me and a cardboard cutout, and I would tell a story about how people would constantly slam me because they're inconsiderate. And one day I decided to slam a kid's fingers in the door frame myself, and the kids loved it. The people, my class and my teacher,
my fans
were laughing. They were legitimately laughing, and I was like, am I good at this? Oh, to quote Drag Race. Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama. Am I the drama? I think I'm the drama. I was the drama. So I found what I was good at. I was good at drama.
Yay.
I am such a gay person.
Yeah.
I love the drama. But yeah, like the sport, forget about it. Maths was getting too hard. English, it was more than just spelling. It was like actual putting sentences and analyzing books and stuff. No. I was not good at anything apart from drama. That was my thing. So much so that when other people came in, meaning like we had something called Drama Festival, and that would be like I think it was like year 12 on year 10s. Anyway, senior school people would be in charge of putting productions together. They would audition people. And of course, as a new found drama lover, I was going to pursue it. And of course, I wanted the big roles. I wanted the lead roles because, hey, it's my time to shine. Yay, me.
Yeah.
But all the popular kids would get it because they were just more popular. People loved them more. So I was fiercely protective of that. Anyway, back to sexuality, the whole point of this podcast. I couldn't do much. there wasn't much I could do. There wasn't anyone out as far as I knew. Well, there was one person, but he was a little bit mentally unstable. I don't think he was disabled. I think he was just, I wonder if he's still alive. Oh, no, he is. I saw photos of him recently. Oh God, did I mention I'm a terrible person?
I already knew that, but now everyone else knows.
A lot of people who are watching this are people who know me and they know I'm a terrible person. Anywho, so 1 year, I think it was year 9. It was year 9 where I wanted to try and year 10. Yeah, it was year 10. That was my year where I was a rebel. I wasn't a rebel. I was just a prick to everyone. I was just lashing out at everyone. I have fights with my mum every week because I didn't hand in an assignment. My teachers would email my mum and it would be a fight every week. It was horrible.
Oh, God.
And of course, usually at that time is when hormones really start to amp up.
Yeah.
So much so that this kid who I think he was saying he was bi at the time. I saw an opportunity to possibly explore.
Yeah.
Trouble is, he is the least subtle person. He was the least subtle person in the school ever. I tried to talk him into having a secret relationship with, because I just wanted to have a boyfriend and just see what it was like.
Yeah.
And he called it quits like the day after we talked about it. Wouldn't even call it quits. He didn't actually fully agree. I was just like, please. He's like, okay. That was as far as it was. And I think that started spreading around. So nothing happened inside the high school.
Yeah.
Flash forward to 2011. It was my last year in high school because I finished year 11 and then did TAFE for my year 12 equivalent. So I didn't graduate in either of my schools. So
high school dropout.
Yeah, I'm a dropout. I'm horrible. Maybe that's why I'm not so great in life. Anyway, different issue entirely. So fast forward to 2011. 2010, because I actually got my first girlfriend. And that sounds super weird and feels almost wrong to say. But looking back on it, it wasn't really a proper relationship. It was more just I think she understood that I was going through a bit of a crisis. So and she was nice. She was a nice girl. But I kind of asked, like, can we start dating? And she was like, okay. So, I mean, and at that time, sorry, I'm blowing into my microphone. Just my muscle. Yeah, sorry, that's horrific. I'll try and cut that out if I can find it. At the time, so at that time I was doing something called stage door, which was like a performing arts school. And this would be like an acting / musical theater, but I was in the acting part. I do not have a dancing or singing bone in my body at all. Singing, I mean, I'm great and amazing at karaoke when I've had enough drinks and
when alcohol's involved,
and I completely wasted.
I'm great.
Alcohol
Alcohol
gives me the vocals of freaking Mariah Carey / Ariana Grande.
That I have to see.
Maybe. Who knows?
Oh yeah, I'm not good at karaoke. So.
Who is really, apart from like actual singers?
Yeah.
Oh, I've been in a karaoke room when there's been an actual person with vocal training in there, and I'm like, you are ruining this. You are ruining this for us. We're supposed to sound like crap.
Yeah.
Well, you have your grand finale, but right now let me feel my oats, which is very much a Drag Race joke for those who don't know. Like, oh yes, stage door. So this is performing arts school. So anyway, we were doing kind of the cute straight couple thing in front of people. Like I would sit down, she would sit down on my lap, all the things, the things that people do,
the lovey-dovey stuff.
Nothing to do against like heterosexual people. It's the public affection thing. It's just like, really, some people can't do that. But I was one of them because I had convinced myself and everyone around me, but I think mainly myself, that I was bi, because the thought of just being gay was just like, no, I can't have kids. I can't have a family. I can't do this. I'm going to be seen as a freak. At least there's a half chance if I am bi that I can be, normal. Whatever that means. Stable as an actual success in life, which is what I used to think at the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, that didn't that broke up pretty quick because it wasn't real. But the year after I had my first date with the guy. It was a friend of my now ex-girlfriend, which these days I don't feel comfortable calling it like a girlfriend or ex-girlfriend. I don't think it was really that. I mean, we've talked since then, but we were just like, we were supposed to kind of a strange time in our lives. But yeah, so we got into contact with each other. He was very keen to have a boyfriend. Desperately. And look, so was I. Yeah. But I really saw that in him because we'd been talking for a while. And the first time we actually met, I remember it was at Murdoch Station. He got off the train. And he come up and we went to the bus to go. I think we were seeing the movie. What was that movie? It was 2011 or 2010. It was the movie about Shakespeare and like the theory that he didn't actually write his plays. Do you know what I'm talking about? There was a feature film that came out during that time. I don't know what it was called, and I barely paid attention because we just spent the entire time in that cinema because it was just us, and then there was like an older couple like way in the front, not anywhere near us. So we were in the back and we were just making out most of the time.
Of course.
So, but on that bus, he had written love letters, very serious love letters, like together forever kind of thing.
Okay.
So it was very much a awakening. Not that kind of awakening, but very much like is this what I am? Like, I didn't do any of that, but I was clearly still just kind of seeing past it, not seeing it was a red flag and just going, hey, a guy's paying attention to me. Which did actually happen when I did have my first boyfriend because we called it quits. Well, I called it quits with him. It was Fremantle. It was during the summer. It was a really hot day. And then he was so upset. I was following him around for the rest of the afternoon to make sure he wasn't going to do anything stupid. Like he got so upset. I was following him to the shops. He was buying something. He left the shops and then he went to I think it was like an oval next to the school that we were going to. And he like broke down in like the middle of the oval. And I was just like trying to like comfort him. And I was like, I'm so sorry this happened. You can slap me if you want to. Because I thought you'd make him feel better if he physically assaulted me.
Okay.
Oh my Lord. Those who are listening, don't do that. Please don't do that. Do not encourage physical violence. We don't condone that. No, don't ever do that because that is abusive. Just
use your words.
You communicate, which for teenagers is very freaking hard, especially teenage boys, because we can't communicate. Well, I'm not a teenager anymore, but I still have communication issues. Hey, at least I'm self-aware.
Yes.
So that was my first ever like experience with a guy. My first time sexually with a man was actually I'm skipping. No, I'm not skipping ahead. Yes, I am, but not as much as I thought I was. Flash forward to this is after high school. I finished high school. All that part is over. 2014. Yes. That was my first time with a man. Sexual, intimately. I made a very silly decision that could have ended up very badly. So this is a cautionary tale for those who are listening. I lost my virginity to a guy I had only just met a few hours ago. We've been talking on Facebook a few times. We were both Lady Gaga fans. So we were both on a group and we got to know each other because he was one of the few in Perth. The rest were in the eastern states. So it already felt incredibly isolating. And oh my God, I was swooning over this guy. He was very psychological. He was very enlightened, very well versed in art.
Oh my God.
And he was just like so intelligent. And I remember, obviously I wasn't drunk enough then, because I remember just listening to his words and how wise he was. And it was like, oh my God, he's so enlightened and he's so smart. And oh my God, I was a 16-year-old girl, dude. Like you see TV shows and he's like, oh, he's so smart and everything, or just real life 16-year-old girls. Swooning over boys. Guys. Yeah, I think I was still 18. I don't think I was 19 just yet, but yeah, I decided, because we were at his apartment, so big red flag. I barely know this guy and I'm at his apartment and we're drinking heavily.
Oh, okay.
We were drinking entire bottles of, I think it was Southern Comfort. Good stuff, but good Lord, we downed that bottle and we were gone, especially me. So back then I used to be a lot thinner and I was a lightweight and I made a very bad decision. Thankfully it didn't have any repercussions. That part came later.
Oh, that's good.
So that's when I begged him to take away my virginity because I didn't want to be a 19-year-old virgin, because that was a problem, apparently, because as a society, we are so obsessed with sex that if we're a 19-year-old virgin, we are seen as like the biggest losers ever. And like, we haven't gotten anything. So I didn't want to succumb to that. Yeah. So we did it. Although I don't think we finished because his cousin came over.
Oh jeez.
Apparently his cousin would that was distorted. Apparently his cousin would occasionally crash there because he kind of lived there, but like he would stay at other places anyway. So he came back, so the guy was just like, get in the bathroom, just go shower, just go clean off. But like, you know, there was the engagement, there was the going past the wall. I'm trying to be very clever about this again, because I don't want to freak people out. But yeah, that was my first time. Oh, by the way, I also slept over because I was drunk, so I naturally passed out with him in his bed. Yeah. And I had not yet learned what the definition of one night stand meant. Oh. Because I woke up and I was like cuddling him and I was just like very intimate with him. I was like, yeah. So I was just naturally thinking like, he's gonna be my boyfriend now, because I was just swooning over him. He was my Edward and I was the Bella in my head. In my head. Yeah. So I enamored with him, but after completely annoying him, he was like, look, I'm just like not in the mood to do this right now. And I think he might have misinterpreted what happened. So I was pretty freaking devastated. So I left. Yep. I parked next door in the parking multi-story car park, which costs a fortune in the city. Yeah. So that was my first time. But yeah, that year was still very difficult for me. I had on and on things with guys, but a lot of it was just, well, I say hooking up, but sex wasn't even involved that much. It was mainly just going out of people's places, making out. I would meet with guys and we would do intimate stuff in the cubicles, in toilet cubicles. I didn't want to, because I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be like called a F slur. I didn't want to be dealing with that because I didn't want that kind of negative attention. So, but I wanted to explore this. So so over the years, there's been a lot of growing. There's been a lot of having to just say, no, this is me. I've got to stop hiding it and stop living in fear. Yeah. So anyway, so my relationships wise, sorry, this has gone on for a while. I'm so sorry.
It's fine. It's our podcast.
It is our podcast. Yeah. I just don't want to take up too much of your time because I know you got to go somewhere.
You're fine.
But yeah, 2012, 2015. Jeez, what am I talking about? 2015 was my first official boyfriend. At the very, very start. We got together very quickly. I think we had like 1 or maybe 2 dates, and then we decided, yeah, we're completely in love. We need to be together.
Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, because he paid attention to me, and he wasn't just like, hey. It was like, hey, he's not like just a one night stand. He wants to see me again. So that must mean, hey, he wants to be with me. So, hello, I have a boyfriend now. Well, yeah. Looking back on it, we should have never gotten together, by the way. No. I'm glad we did, because sorry, I just burped. That was disgusting. What doesn't kill you make you stronger.
Yeah, and every relationship teaches you something.
Absolutely. But this one was very unhealthy. It was emotionally manipulating. He made me afraid of having sex. Wow. Because I couldn't pleasure him, because I'm a bottom. And I couldn't do it because I felt gross. I felt like I wasn't doing it properly. I felt like I was letting him down, which is such a red flag for those who are listening. Do not measure yourself by if you can physically please someone, because sometimes people have issues. It's a very confronting thing to do, especially if you're doing gay sex for the first time, because it's not the traditional penis goes into vagina. It's penis goes into hole, and it freaking hurts. Chris, you know, like it does hurt the first time. I mean, the first time it wasn't so, I mean, I remember it hurting, but I think the alcohol was kind of numbing my senses a little bit. So I think I got used to it a lot quicker than I did when I did eventually have sex, but that's skipping ahead a little bit. So, but I always felt like I wasn't pleasing him. And I felt like a horrible boyfriend because of that. You know, we did spend time together. I remember he took me to like his holiday house, like up north one time. And that was kind of trying to have an opportunity to actually finally do it, but we never did. Yeah. And that was one of the big breakdowns of our relationship. And we did break up because I did cheat on him. Well, when I say cheating, okay, there is different interpretations of it. Yes, it was being disloyal because I was making out with a guy. Okay. I went back to his place, this other guy's place. He was going to start doing more than just the making out stuff, but then I stopped, and then I left that place and I called, and this was like late at night, by the way. So my ex was asleep at this point, but I was like in tears, like, I am so sorry. Like, can we please talk about this? We did eventually. We met at the Dome in Fremantle, and he broke up with me. Now, I mean, I cheated on him, so, you know, that was natural. But then I noticed something while we broke, because I publicly cried, and I never do that. Ever. I never cry in public. It very rarely happens. It's only happening I can count the amount of times it's happened on my one hand. Yeah. And I've got all 5 fingers attached. So if anyone's like, oh, does he have like 3 fingers? No, I've got 5. I've got 5. Yes. He's got 1 finger. And you can count on that 1 finger. Yeah. No, I've got 5 fingers. But no, because of my insecurity. But then he fake cried. Now, I knew he fake cried because I'd seen him legitimately cry before. It was for like a marriage equality thing, and it was legitimately sweet. So I'd seen him actually cry before, but I knew this wasn't a fake cry. But at the time, I was like, look, I could call him out of it, but I just cheated on him, so I have no room to say anything. Yeah. Looking back on it, I should have called it out, especially because I found out years later that he was actually cheating on me long before I cheated on him. Serious? Oh my god! Because I had a date with a guy who told me about him and said, "Hey, we actually end up having." It was like February 2016. At that time, he and I were still together. So I was like, "Oh." So he made me feel bad about cheating. Even though I didn't even have sex with that other guy, but he did. and made me feel like the bad guy.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't speak to that guy anymore.
No,
I don't speak to my first ex anymore. My first ex, I don't know, he's in Canberra or something. Pursuing law. Yeah.
Oh, God.
I know this is.
At least he can lie.
That's the thing that it's like they're trained to lie.
Yeah.
And I need to make a slight disclaimer here. I know not all lawyers are emotionally manipulating. Yes. I know that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've just had bad experiences with lawyers. One was my ex-boyfriend, and one who I went on a couple of dates with, who I thought was like the perfect guy.
Okay.
Yeah. Hello, I like you long time. Anywho, but yes, so throughout the years, I've had time to grow up and accept that. Also, by the way, do you want to know when I officially came out as gay and I dropped the whole bi thing?
When?
After I broke up with my first boyfriend.
Really? Yeah.
How random is that of a time? It's like, I'm so sad and depressed on my ex, and I went home crying. By the way, I came home and I broke down. Yeah. On that day, it was so funny. It was like, I'm so sad and stuff, but I definitely don't want girls or boobs or anything, but I'm definitely gay. But yay, I've learned something about myself, but I'm so devastated.
Yeah. But at least that way you knew. Like, I guess that's awful, how you knew.
But I'm definitely not bi anymore. I know that now for some reason at this time. Yeah. It takes heartbreak to know that you're officially gay and definitely not interested in females at all. Awkward. So for the longest time, I didn't have any. I mean, I had stuff like that, but I didn't have, because I felt ugly. I felt like I couldn't perform properly because that lingered in my head. Yeah. So I don't know if abusive is too much of a heavy-handed word to use for that, but it lingered with me, how he made me feel. Yeah. And that's another thing that for you who are listening need to understand, that you can't let others dictate your self-worth. Yeah. And I know that's way easier said than done, especially for those who are definitely in a lot more toxic relationships. But it is the truth. And sometimes, see, I'm just reflecting on it now, just talking about it, and it feels really good to talk about it. And that's why we started the show. That's what we're doing. Exactly. This can be as a therapy to people. It's a it is a safe space. Yeah. It's completely a safe space. Yeah. Even if you choose to be anonymous, even if you choose to go, hey, I just want like a code name, I want my voice to be muffled, or you just write to us. And we read through our email. Our email is queerstoriesontheswan@hotmail.com. If you want to email us, and we can discuss. We can read out your story and discuss aspects of that. So yeah, but we want this to be a safe space for everyone who wants to join us. Yeah. So anyway, just to wrap it up quickly, because you got to go on your thing. So I've had to face a lot growing up, but I am proud to be a gay man. And I want to give back to the community with this podcast, give you all a voice to tell your stories, because that means something to us. Because again, I did grow up very, very lucky. My parents didn't keep me out because I was gay, which just quickly, my mum ruined my coming out, by the way, when I thought I was bi, because
mums always know though.
They just know. They just know, because I had a speech written, I had a suitcase ready just in case things turned pear-shaped. I was all prepared. I was ready for the dramatics, because I know because I'd seen videos on YouTube of like really bad coming outs. Like they would come out and there would be like a full-on physical altercation. Yeah. And it was terrifying. That made me go, oh my God, what if this happens? Like there was no mention of any gay or queer things in general, but you just don't know until that comes up. Yeah. But I was like, Mom, I got something to tell you. I started going to it. She's like, yeah, I know. I'm like, yeah. Like, are you serious?
This is my moment.
I had all this. This was my moment to shine. If there's cameras around, this would have been Oscar worthy, and you ruined that. Thanks, you and your acceptance and your love.
Yeah, God,
with me here. Yeah. My dad was accepting. My brother did find out, but it was while I was dating my second boyfriend. So I've had it pretty easy. But so because I've been quite privileged, that's why I wanted to start this podcast so people can talk to us about their stories.
Yeah.
So yeah. And you know, I think that's as far as I'm going to go. I think we got the basic general gist. I'm a basic white boy, and I've gone through trials and tribulations, but I'm stronger now because of it. So
yeah,
that's Chris done. Christo, you want to begin your turn now?
Oh God. Well, mine's not as dramatic as yours because I don't know. My life was just the.
Chris, you're gay.
Anyway.
You're meant to be dramatic. Are you a gay or not?
Oh yes. Shush. Anyway.
Anyway, go on.
So, as you said, picture this. No. Well, I was born in Gosford, New South Wales, in 1990.
An Easterner.
Yes. And then my birth mother moved here into Perth when I was sort of probably about 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was taken off her through child services and given to a family that I've been with since then. It was only supposed to be temporary, but you know, something years later, I'm still with them. So they're basically my adopted family now.
Right.
And living with them has been really great, obviously. But why am I so nervous? This is so weird.
Hey, remember this is a safe
talking
space.
About myself.
And hey, look, and that's the thing. I'm saying this to you, Christo, but I'm also saying this to any potential guests that we have in the future. If there's anything that you want off the record, you don't want to discuss, that is completely up to you. Like we are a safe space, and you can we're not going to expose or use your stories for any mischievous or
gain or anything.
No gain or anything. This is not a gain. This is purely a community based no, none of that. So you don't have to go anything, Chris, if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Christo. I'm always Christo. I'm sorry, I am so bad at that. Christo.
Okay. I'm sure they'll distinguish our voices.
I'm sure they will too. It's like match your voice now to try and confuse people.
Oh God. Good luck.
I will.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I've interrupted you again. Go ahead.
It's okay. So I guess growing up I was normal. Like I guess I should have known when I was younger. My mum obviously knew because I'd play with Barbie dolls with my sisters because I had sisters. So I was
that's 100% straight. What are you talking about?
You know, it was fun. Like I had cars and everything. I've still got like a manly side, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was always with the girls. All my friends are girls. I've never really had guy friends. I don't know why.
Yeah. No, I had that too. You know, I just get along with girls and women.
I relate to them so much easier.
Yeah.
And they're less problematic. Anyway, sometimes. But
I was gonna say that's a bit subjective, apparently. But I wouldn't
know. Yeah, so like growing up, it was just a normal childhood. There was nothing really to think about or anything. I never really thought about sexuality for a long time. Like it never clicked at all. Until I got I was 16, so I was in year 10 because I was 18 when I graduated. And my best friend at the time, she and we'd been friends since like year 8, and we decided to date each other, like as you do. And so her and I dated for like a year, and the first 6 months we were just together. The whole school knew. That was kind of like the talk of the town, which was so weird. Even though we weren't popular or anything, it was just so weird.
And this is still back where you originally lived, in the Eastern States, is that correct?
No, this is here in Perth.
Oh, this is here. Sorry, yes, correct.
I've been in Perth since I was 3.
you said talk of the town, so I just for some reason just automatically went town. Sorry.
No, like the school. Talk of the school.
The school
basically.
Town. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And so for the first 6 months, we'd actually never kissed. We'd only hugged and held hands, and that was it.
Oh,
and every time
that was like third base back in like when you were like a kid.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you held a hand.
Oh my God.
You've exchanged keys.
Oh my God.
You have girl jams now. Do you understand what that means?
Ew. Well, that explains the girly side of me.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe girl jams are real and they just turn people gay.
I know.
Damn.
Oh my God, we just discovered it. We discovered the gayness.
Yep.
How gays created.
Tell all the scientists in the world. Yep. Just purge all the girls, and then the gays will go. But they can't do that because then they'll be like, oh, society will collapse. Guess you can't get rid of us. It's like we're a foundation.
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead, Del.
Oh my God. So once 6 months hit, she wanted to kiss me, and I just never thought about it. Every time we tell this story to people, we both crack up laughing. At the time, it was very weird and awkward. She took me behind the building at the school at lunchtime.
Oh, scandalous.
And yeah, I know. And she was leaning up against the door, and I was standing in front of her, and she pulled me in, and we kissed. And then she let go, and I fell straight into a bush behind me. Just yeah. Can you picture it?
Was it like you just kind of fainted, like, whoa, that was amazing, and then you fell into the bush?
I think it was just
or was
shock
it kind of like, was it like your gay body just kind of like just impacted off a shield, and then you just landed back into the bush? So I've been watching a lot of Marvel stuff recently, so superhero stuff's in my head.
Oh yes. No, I think it was just the sheer shock of, oh my God, someone kissed me. Like,
it wasn't my parents. It wasn't my mum kissing me on the cheek or anything, or my grandparent. Yeah. It was a person not related to me. What? Yeah. No, I get that.
And then things went on okay after that. We didn't kiss again. Why would I?
Wow.
I was a bit shocked. I'm like, oh, excuse me. And then our relationship went downhill. We got a bit angry at each other right up until end of school, where we had I think our biggest fight that we've ever had in our entire life.
Wow.
Was over a candy cane.
Okay.
Because I need
to know the context. I need to know the context of this story. Because my dirty mind immediately was like, I want this for myself. Like, no, I want this for myself, in case you were finding yourself out. But that's completely dirty and horrific. Please go on.
Oh my God. So, at the end of the year.
Yeah. Okay.
Naughty. At the end of the year, how you bought like Christmas cards for everyone and they had candy canes and stuff. Yeah. Well, anyway, she did that.
Right.
But she didn't give me a candy cane. She gave me a card, but I didn't get a candy cane. And I was furious. I'm like, excuse me, I'm your boyfriend. Like, I should have the biggest one. Anyway. So we
got to compensate for something.
Argument.
Anyway, sorry, that was rude.
Oh my God. PG, Chris.
I know. I was just the one saying I want to keep the podcast clean, and yet here I go. It's okay. Well, I'm editing it. I'm editing this episode, so it's me who has to pay for those mistakes. So you're fine.
Anyway, so like, because she'd given it to everyone in the morning, so I was angry with her the entire time.
Right.
We sat at like opposite ends of the common room and everything, and everyone knew that there was something wrong.
was it like a team Chris and then team whatever her name was?
No. Jazz.
Okay.
No.
Yeah,
it was just everyone knew. We were not happy because we weren't sitting together and we weren't together. And anyway, so about lunchtime, she actually comes to me and gives me, I honestly can't remember what she gave me, but it was so much better than a candy cane, like a physical present of something.
Okay, right.
And it was all fine after that.
Yeah.
She's like, I just wanted to give you something special, but at like a later date, so it didn't seem like I was just trying to, give everything out. I was like, well, that's actually really nice. I'm so sorry. So,
do we believe it? No.
Yeah, it was lovely. It was really nice. Anyway,
that's good. That's good.
I think it was Boxing Day or the day after.
Do you remember what year this was? Just to keep up.
It was 2006.
Right.
Yeah, end of 2006. So I was 16. Anyway, so at the end of that day, about Boxing Day, I texted her going, we need to talk. And she calls me and goes, we need to break up. I'm like, that's exactly what I was going to say to you.
You're like, oh, thank God. Yeah.
So we both kind of met that day as well. Like, I went back to her place because she lives in the same area as me. And we just sat and talked and, discussed everything. And I go, I think I'm bi. She goes, really? I'm like, yeah, well, school locker rooms and boys kind of have interest me. You know, when the boys get changed and they're topless, and it's like, wow. She's like,
yeah,
I get it.
that was the thing. I tried not to look at for too long in high school because
I didn't like. Yeah, I didn't try to look, but it just, you see it.
It was
like,
just there, and
that's nice.
They're freaking running
pretty.
all over the room. You can't not see it.
Yeah,
it's like you're not making this easy for us that are actually gay.
Yeah, and like I'm trying so hard to hide in the corner and not let anyone see me get changed.
And just a quick side note: how funny, well, funny for us now, but at the time it was frustrating. Like the amount of times, especially like the sporty straight man will do like gay stuff. Like they'll hug, and they were like, I remember like, you know, this big buff guys will like take up like the more sporty, scrawnier kids, like they were much shorter, and they like hold them in their arms and all cutesy stuff. But it was obviously just a joke. Yeah. And then you have the gay kid watching them, me, and then they'd be like, "What are you looking at? They're not gay. Do you want to join in?" And I was just like, and back way back in my mind, I'm like, maybe. Yes. But me, so I'm like, no. And it's like, really? It's a little bit, I just found it a little bit like, really? I'm really struggling with this, but I can't tell anyone. Yeah. And you're openly flaunting
just do it. Yeah.
It's almost like mocking it. But yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it? Anyway, look, locker room boys. Sorry, that tends to distract people like me.
I know, right?
So you came out as bi.
So so I came out as bi to her. No one else knew anything, right. Although I'm sure my friends knew. Anyway, and I think it was about a month into 2017, I came out and I realized, no, I'm gay. I do not look at women that way. I don't think women are, for me personally, sexually attractive.
Yep.
Like I can admire and say that they're beautiful and stunning and sexy.
Yep.
But not in the way that a straight guy thinks.
Yeah.
I'm not lusting after them. It's more of like, oh, you look very sexy, sweetie. Like, it's a compliment rather than a come on.
Yeah, exactly. When you came out as bi to Jazz, was that to kind of go, like, was it kind of like me where I said, hey, if I'm bi, there's a chance, like I'm not completely gay? Is that why you did it? Or was it kind of like, I've just been dating you, but if I say I'm gay, that's kind of dishonest? Is that why? Or
I think it was just, I was just trying to figure out like who I liked, like which gender do I actually like, and who am I sexually attracted to, and
and that can happen.
All of that. So for me, that's kind of what it was about.
And so you came out as gay in 2017.
So I came out to her. She was always the first one to know everything. She's like a sister to me. We've been inseparable for the last, since 2000 and since year 8.
And that's still the case now.
14.
Yeah, good.
So it's about awesome. 16 years or something stupid like that.
Yeah,
a long
time.
Gotten to the point where we just kind of criticize each other. It's great.
Yeah,
that's a joke.
That's what friends are for.
Yeah, exactly. She's my, I won't say the word beep. Bish.
Petri dish.
Yeah.
No, not petri dish.
So anyway. So I came out. So I came out to her, and then everything was cool. Obviously, she didn't care, and she's pansexual anyway.
Yep.
Now, then I came out to my other closest friends, and their reaction was, "Yeah, we know." I'm like,
what is with people ruining coming outs? It's supposed to be our
why
moment.
Not give me a chance to be emotional and sorry and just But they're like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm like, fine. So I'm like, okay, I need to tell my mum, but I didn't tell my mum until I'd almost finished year 12. So I waited a long time to tell her, I guess because I was still trying to figure out myself.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out who I am, what I'm into, all that kind of stuff. And just, I didn't discover boys. I wasn't with anyone. Like I never had those opportunities because there wasn't much of the internet back then.
Yeah.
Like I was, it was like 2008. So the internet wasn't that big. There wasn't that many hookup apps as there are now. There wasn't even, I think the only one I was on, which is actually how I met my partner, was Manhunt. If you've ever heard of that one.
No, I hadn't.
It was a website, but now it's an app. But
Right. Okay.
I was on that when I turned 18. I signed myself up and I was still at school and I was like, why not? Let's see what's out there. Anyway, so I finally told my mom and she was like, okay, do you want me to tell your dad? Because my dad was fly in, fly out. I'm like, okay. Everything was fine. Nothing was wrong.
Yep.
They've never, ever treated me any different. My mum actually, I think, loves to have a gay son.
I know. I feel it always sounds like
loves
a parent kind of almost wishes they were, especially the mums. Because then it's like, ooh, now we can kind of be talking about men and it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
especially once your kid
thing.
grows up. Like if it's a teenager, it's still a bit like a little weird. But like now my mum will sometimes like simp with men with me. And it's just like, especially the pit crew from Drag Race, like, ooh.
Yeah.
Anyway, men. Did I mention that I'm gay and I'm gay and I love men?
You're gay? Ew.
I know. What is this, a gay podcast or something? What?
I came to the wrong room.
Yes, you did. In your lovely background of your tropical background, you green screen extra B word.
Yeah, well, someone's got to be. One of us has to be extra.
Girl, do not start with me. Don't you start with me. I was just smiling at how sweet your life was.
Yeah, that's pretty much my growing up. Nothing really changed after that.
What about your relationship with your partner? Like, what was that pretty? Has that been pretty easy, or have you had like difficulties? No, really good.
No.
So also it's not been easy. Sorry.
What?
Hang on. I think I asked like a million questions. So has your like things with the partner been okay? Has there been like rocky times where was he trying to figure himself out while he was with you, or anything like that?
More on my side, but not me. So basically, when we started dating, it was beginning of 2009. My mum didn't know, or my parents didn't know. I kept it a very big secret for a year.
That's a pretty decent amount of time for something like that.
Well, I wanted to make sure. I'm one of those people that has to get to know someone by myself personally before I let anyone else know. Because if it doesn't work out, they'll never know.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Was he just a friend at the time? Where there's like, I'm just going to see my friend Steve?
No.
Or no? Okay.
No, Jazz was my God, I hope she doesn't listen. She probably will.
You advertise it on your page.
Jasmine was my alibi for everything.
Look, I don't think she's gonna be too mad about that. I mean, I don't.
She knows. She's always said she'll be my alibi.
Oh, well, there you go. What's she gonna be upset about?
It was lovely. So I'd say I'm catching. Well, we did catch up. Like she'd come with us. Like we'd go to do things, and she'd be there. So it wasn't like I wasn't lying. She was there, but she was the third wheel. But she understood.
Yeah, but that's also like kind of like when you're trying to figure someone out, like you need a second opinion, because that's what I did, and I wish I did have that when I was pursuing my first boyfriend. Yeah, because people would have immediately been like, yeah, he's a bit not fully committed. Yeah, there's something that he's not being honest with you. So I think it's important if you go on a date with several dates with a guy, you're trying to get to know him, especially after a long period of time. Because the first few months of a relationship are just bliss, right? Yeah. But then as you go through, you might start fighting about things. You might have some differences about you that you can't really experience until you start experiencing it. And then that might turn things rocky. Yeah. But with a second person, because they're not looking in with like googly eyes, well, you'd hope so, because otherwise there might be fights. But then you can have that kind of outside opinion. Do you know what I mean? So,
and also
I think that's great.
You feel comfortable with that second person because you are who you are with them.
Yeah, so and they're going to be honest with you.
You're going to be.
They're going to tell you. They're not going to try and manipulate you. Well, you'd hope. Yeah, but
For me, the main reason was because there was an age gap. So there's a 14 year age gap between me and my partner. Right. So he's older. So he was 42 when we met, and I was 18, 19. Okay. Not saying that's a bad thing. Age gaps mean nothing. Oh no, I don't care how old you are.
Especially once you get older, because remember in high school, it's scandalous if you are dating someone that's like 1 or 2 years older than you. Oh yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Like, what are you thinking? You crazy person. But now you're coming out, you're like, I'm 24. I'm 24, and he's like 38. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah. Anyway, so that kind of kept me a bit like, oh, this is going to be hard to tell my mum because she's very, very protective. And so I finally told her. The next day, she told me to invite him over. So I did. This was after a year of dating him. So I'd already got to know him. We were in love. It was really, really great. Everything like that. Him coming over went really well. She said she liked him. I was like, oh my God, this is great. Like, I'm so happy. Yes, I'm young, but I found someone I'm really happy with. You know, yes, it's my first relationship with a guy, but, you know, sometimes these things happen. Fairy tale moments do actually happen.
You'll have to explain what that feels like.
Oh, trust me, it's okay. It gets worse. So anyway, so he leaves. Mum says that's all good. Like la la la. He's really lovely. I'm like, okay, cool. Left it at that. And then I started working, and I get home. This is probably months after she's met him. I get home and I get a text message from Jazz saying, I'm not going to say his name. My partner is upset and you need to contact him. Oh my God.
This was her partner?
No, this is my partner.
This is your partner. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So Jazz obviously is in contact with my partner as well. And I'm like, oh God, what's happened? Like everything seemed to be fine. So I contact him and he goes, your mother showed up at my work and told me that our relationship has to end, that I'm a pedophile.
Oh my God.
And I'm leading you on and I'm grooming you and all this kind of stuff. And he's bawling his eyes out on the phone to me. And I'm like, but like a month ago, Mum was fine. Like everything was fine. And then Mum came home and I confronted her about it because I was like, you know what, this is my relationship, not yours.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, he was rude to me, he was nasty to me, rah, rah, rah. And I know him and I know her.
Yeah.
So, you know, she was trying to say that he, you know, I don't know him and he's rough. And I'm like, he's like the sweetest guy in the world. Like, come on, like he'd do anything. And at the time, Mum had taken my sister's, at the time, boyfriend with her. And apparently he was all like, yeah, you know, agreeing with my mum, saying that, you know, this was happening. And my partner got a golf club out of the car and threatening her. And I'm like, jeez, that does not sound like him at all. Trust me, I know. So anyway, when I finally got like, I told Mum, okay, whatever, you know, whatever. So I think it was like a couple of days later, I actually went and saw him. He sat down and talked to me about it and said, look, I actually got a message from your mum saying that she's coming to see me. So I thought to distract everyone at the office, like at the business that he worked at, he'd go take his golf club and put it in the car as if that's what he was doing. But in fairness, he was just going to wait by the car for her to arrive. So when she arrived, he was putting the golf club in the car. And that's why she confused the golf club. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes more sense than you lashing out at her, like as if you do that. Anyway, so we had to end it. I dated 2 other guys after him around my age and found it was just not my thing.
Yeah.
I just couldn't deal with well, one of them we dated for about a year. The other one we dated probably 2 years, which we're still friends. I'm friends with all my exes. Go me.
I'm friends with one of them, so I've got one of my exes. I mean,
yeah,
I know your exes too.
Oh my God,
the amount of stories we talk about. Yeah, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
no.
The things they could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were, you know, like I dated guys my age, and it was good, but it wasn't the same what I'd had. You know, I missed that kind of maturity. Like I enjoyed going out because I was trying to get used to going out to nightclubs and whatever, and as you do at that age, but it just got to the point where I was like, this isn't me. Like I'm not, I need that more mature person in my life than just constant party.
I was exhausting.
I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Even now, God, 9 o'clock's my bedtime. I'm done. I'm so old.
I know.
Anything after 9, I'm like,
I know. We were meant to record this yesterday. Well, at a previous day, and yeah, it was a bit too late. To be fair,
yeah, I was like,
that was my
I was
bad.
curled up on the couch.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not moving, bitch.
That's all good. Well, we're doing it now, so that's all good.
Yes. Anyway, so then I broke off with my last boyfriend. I think we broke off all right. We're friends, so I'd say we did.
So, yeah.
And then I asked Jazz, because she still had my partner's number.
Mm-hmm.
I said, can you contact him? We got back in contact. And then we started dating. And then for a year, again, behind my mum's back, because I'm like, I don't want this to happen again. Mm-hmm. And then I made it official on Jazz's birthday. I asked him out and we made it official. Then I told Mum. Mum got upset because I hadn't told her. And I'm like, well, I wanted to make sure that this is what I wanted. I didn't want to be like, yeah, we're back together 2 months later. Like, I wanted to make sure definitely that this is going to progress. It's going to stay how it is. And it did. She was all right. Then I'm trying to think, when did I move out? I think I was like 22 and I moved out with him, which was fine. Mum was happily, because we'd been dating for a while then. So she knew and met and everything. And then she still had her doubts because protective mum, as they do. But it wasn't until our first cruise together that she offered to take us, because it was leaving Fremantle. And in the drive there, he sat in front because I made him. And she apologized and said, look, I'm sorry. You know, you've been living with my son for so many years. He's fine. He's safe. I trust you. Can we leave it all in the past? And everything's great. He comes to Christmas now. It's just like, it's been, we obviously live together. We own a house together and stuff, but
it's a lovely house. I've been there. It's lovely.
Thank you. But yeah, like, it's had its struggles, but I guess, I think if people want to take something away from that, it's the struggles teach you a lot. And if you love someone, you will fight for it.
Oh, like, this is so cute.
I know it is. It's very like, oh, romantic blah, but it's true. Like,
not that kind. Like, you make it not blah. So that's like the best kind.
But like, I could have just not contacted him again. Yeah. Who knows where my life would have been. But the fact that he was still in the back of my mind meant that he was the one. He's the one I wanted. And, you know, we tease each other about it, each other's ages, you know, because he can say stuff and I'm like, oh, because you're old. Like, you're from the Stone Age. Like, and he'll be like, oh, you're too young to understand this. I'm like, yeah, well, good.
Yeah, well, you're from the ancient hieroglyphic days, as we discussed earlier. So yeah, so you can't speak at all.
Yeah, for you. But see, we'll have those moments.
Yeah.
So
because you're the aunt and I'm the mum.
I know, but like, yeah, I just think people, you know, it's kind of, when you're young and you're trying to discover yourself and trying to discover love and everything, it is so complicated. Complicated.
That word love is just like, ugh, geez.
It is
so complicated.
Yeah, but also, like, you know, you always think you found the one every time.
Yep.
As you said, you know, you think you found the one that's going to happen and it doesn't, but you know, it may take a year, it may take 5-10 years before you find someone. Yeah. And you'll still have fun in between because that's what you do. Yeah. You know, we're all human. But
are we?
Like,
yeah, no, we are. Pretty sure.
Well, the gays are aliens, but with a superior race.
I need to cut that out now.
But I guess, yeah, like, just love, like, it will happen when it happens. It's not, you got to let it organically happen. It's not going to be, if you force it, it's not going to work.
No, not at all.
That's what I've learned.
But no, love wins. Love is love.
Yeah.
All the other cliche love things that you hear over the years, good or bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess, you know, we're an odd couple because, like, we don't fight, like, at all. We've never had a blow up. Like, we have little disagreements, but we always talk about it. We're not like yelling at each other like a lot of straight people.
Mm.
And I don't know if that's weird, but
I mean,
I feel like we're on the same page with everything. So nothing is like a drama or a bad thing.
I mean, I haven't any like yellings at any of my relationships. Like, yes, I've had like disagreements and, you know, we might fight about things, but we won't be like screaming and doing that stuff. But I don't know. Some people just are naturally able to not have that.
Long. Yeah.
Well, even if they can still be in love and have like very like people who are like very passionate, if they get together, people who are passionate, they yell.
Boom, boom, boom,
and,
boom. Yeah.
And oh my God, it can be seen as such as an aggressive thing, but sometimes it's mistaken as a passion thing. But then you also don't want to just hide. You don't want to hide that as, oh, I'm just passionate. No, sometimes if you're being a prick, you're being a prick. You have to admit that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that just sounds like you two you just don't. And that's just sometimes how simple it is. You just don't.
It makes it so much easier to live with people.
Oh, I bet.
But yeah. So yeah, like I said, my life hasn't been difficult in that way.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I
just made it super dramatic because that's just who I am.
No. We all that's the whole point of this podcast is we all have stories and they're all different.
Exactly,
different
like
you could have ways of how we got to where we are, and
you could have had the most difficult upbringing being queer. You could have a super privileged one in between, mostly good, but then you have a couple of difficulties. Every relationship is different. Doesn't matter whether queer or not. But you know, because this is obviously a queer podcast, that's coming out as queer, as anything that's not straight can be seen as an obstacle at times.
Yes. Oh,
whether it's by your immediate
is an obstacle.
Coming out. Oh, I would
never obstacle,
repeat that again.
The first obstacle is trying to admit it to yourself.
Yeah.
For you to stand in, one of the things I've watched and learned is the first thing to do is stand in a mirror and tell yourself who you are.
Yep.
Before telling anyone else.
Yeah. And some people really struggle with doing that.
If you can't tell yourself who you are, there's no way you can tell anyone else.
Yeah.
Because you're the one that has to look after yourself, not everyone else.
I know I constantly quote Drag Race, but you know, the whole saying is, if you can't love yourself, how the hell can you love everyone else? Can I get an amen? Amen.
It's true. But it's true.
It is true. It is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone can love anyone else without loving yourself. Like we all have things we hate about each other. I mean, ourselves.
Both are correct. So
each other and ourselves.
Both are correct. And there's definitely a lot of things that I've definitely got a lot of insecurities that I have, and a lot of things that I will self-bash. Like I don't mean self-harm. I mean like just constantly. I will be my own worst critic.
Yeah.
But I am better than I used to be, and I'm getting better at that. The more I grow, the more I learn, the more I respect myself, you know?
Yeah. And in my 31 years of wisdom and life.
Hey, you're aging yourself, not me.
I don't care. I'm proud of my age.
There you go.
I don't look it, so it's great. Like I find that, oh geez, there goes my microphone. Like I find that the more you respect yourself and the more you, I guess, start to accept things about you, the more confident you are in who you are. I still have insecurities, obviously.
Everyone does. For people who say, you know, there can be people who say like they have no insecurities. First of all, please. What are you on?
Yeah, give it to me.
Please. If there's some sort of elixir or I have to sell my soul or something, I don't care. Give it to me.
I would do it. Yeah.
But everyone's got something that they're not particularly happy about. We can work on ourselves to improve it.
Yeah.
And we have to all accept that we're flawed human beings. Human beings are flawed. We are such a flawed group of divas.
And we're so judgmental on ourselves.
God. Because I'm not a scientist. I'm not going to try and act all sciencey. But like,
neither am I.
as people, the human race is genetically engineered to always be the alpha, whether that means the alpha male or we're always going to try to want to control our lives. And a lot of that can be with some people controlling people around them, therefore their own lives. So, and when we see negative things or things we don't like, that's the part we're going to focus on. And remembering the positives can be hard because it's like, well, the positives are solved. So we don't need to look at the positives. We just need to solve the negatives. Yeah. But if you forget about the positives, then it's just the negatives are just consuming your mind and you're not happy. Yeah. Believe me, the amount of times I've had to tell myself this is a lot. Yeah. So yeah. Have we covered everything, Christo?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty happy with what we've done. How long has this meeting gone? Where is there a timer?
1 hour 40 is my recording.
1 hour 40. Jesus, I've got a lot to edit.
Okay. But that's like starting from when we did all the dilly-dallying around.
That's true. I started recording beforehand, so I don't think it'll be as long. Anywho, so this
how are we going to do an outro?
Are you happy with that, Christo?
What? Yeah. What?
Are you happy with what we've done? Like, do you have anything more to add? Or...
Yes.
Well, no. I think this is our first episode, our pilot.
Oh my god.
So thank you so much for everyone who
weight off shoulders.
Right. Until the next one.
Well, at least the next one will probably have someone so we can bounce off someone else.
Exactly. It's not gonna be about us. We can add little things here and there, but like it's gonna be mainly about the guest. So thank you all.
If we must.
Absolutely. Anyway, thank you all for listening. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule. If you're listening in your car, on your laptop, in the bar,
in space,
in space,
wherever,
in space. If aliens can listen to our podcast,
well, I was thinking about spacemen, but yeah, okay, spacemen and women.
Fair. Wherever you're listening, thank you so much for listening.
Yes,
we really appreciate the support and the time to listen to us just chat about our lives. If you want to reach out to us to be on the show, I think I would recommend going through our email, which is queerstoriesontheswan@hotmail.com. Hotmail.
Yes, Chris, remember that.
I know, because my first email address was a Hotmail address, so that's very like nostalgic for me. Otherwise, you can still reach us through our Facebooks, our socials. Queer Stories on the Swan Facebook page, Instagram queer.stories.on.the.swan.
I had to make it difficult.
Yeah, that was Christo. So
you're welcome.
Anyway,
well, I'm fabulous. You expect that, right?
Doesn't mean you have to make things difficult.
Different.
Jeez.
Different.
Oh, please. Anywho, please reach out to us if you want to be on the show, or if you know myself personally or Christo personally, you can talk to us. If you want to share your stories, absolutely, anonymously. That's what this show is for. Anonymous or not, this is a safe space. So thank you. And we'll have anyone. We don't care who you are, famous or not. Although if you are famous, and for some reason you hear this podcast and you want to be on the show, please do. Reach out. Because we could use the clout and the attention. What I mean is, we're a community station. We're a community podcast. Anyone who wants to reach out to us is more than welcome. Okay? Yeah. We'll make that clear in all seriousness. Yes. Should we have a little tagline at the end, or what tagline were you thinking of? I don't know. Safe, fabulous. No. That's actually a pretty good tagline. You know what? Fabulous, y'all. So, thank you all so much for listening, and stay fabulous, y'all. Bye. Bye.